Good day. My name is Jiximba Noshash, and I'm today will describe factors in the taste testing, the physiological factors in the taste testing, sensory tests. So, welcome to the lectures of the sensory analyzing, and hope that you will enjoy. So, as a first physiological factor of the influencing in the uh, taste tasting, it's the time of the test. So it's the most important that day of the week, how can that can be influence on the test. So it was evaluated for a long time and was established that Monday and Friday are being a bad days for tasting. So normally taste it's 1 hour before meals and 1 and 2 hours after. Sometimes this becomes difficult in the practice due to unavailability of the taster or number of the sessions. So of course at the time of the taste, all of this can be influenced. Then next is smoking. So of course after smoking, so when we get kind of the alkaloids or nicotine, then they can be taste affected on the substance. So we shouldn't smoke and be ensured that they don't smoke for at least 1 and 2 hours before tasting. And we should also avoid chewing gum, mints, and spices, etc. So it may also influence the taste. Then illness. So as we know that from the sense of the smell, that all of the compounds which is giving aroma, odor, and smell, it comes from our olfactory system. So about the illness, which is can be as a flu or when we have a uh, running nose, it can be less sensitive of the suffering from the illness. So it can be reduced, particularly those with the cold and flu. So it's about the physiological and psychological influence. And then we have also likes and dislikes. So in the operational principles, we will talk about it, that we should avoid uh, person who don't like those certain type of the food. So if you have, for example, vegan, of course you wouldn't ask him to taste kind of the animal origin products, right? So it's in the preference of the tasting or series of the treatment within a specific product type, or eliminate people who dislike the products. So or those who are not discriminatory. And next is palate clearing. So before tasting, we should remove any lingering tastes among samples that reduce adaptation to taste buds. So warm water, biscuits, bread, apples may be used as a palate cleaning agents. So mostly, of course, we use water, so it should be warm, okay? So palate clearing can be optional, but whatever is done must be constant. So the time between samples should be also kept constant if it is possible, because we understand that kind of the product you had or uh, can have aftertaste and etc. So we should keep the certain duration of the time. And the next is perfumes and spices. So we should ask panelists to return from the reading strong perfumes or breathing spicy odors or wherever it's possible. Uh, Except people who adapted to this smell, maybe they couldn't feel any difference. But for the other members of the panelists, it can be make more difficulties. So also we have when strong strong, adaptive. So by the time maybe our receptors can be not so sensitive. Okay. So and the next is sample coding. We should remove as possible bias or influence from the sample codes, and we should don't use single digit numbers. Okay, so maybe people who like the number lucky or unlucky, and then it can be influenced by as a physiological or psychological influence on the evaluation. So it's the consecutive letters, same codes at the consecutive sessions, or randomly or statistically generated three-digit numbers codes are the best. So order of the presentation, always use either a random order of the presentation or statistical balanced design to avoid those etc. So next is Dunker vote. So donkey vote is the first is best, last is worst. So because the sensory evaluation is subjective system, it's necessary to allow for any physiological factors that may influence result and possibly lead to error. So good results can only be obtained from a cooperative, responsive panels. So motivating panelists can reduce this problem, stressing importance of work, stimulating company expansion, greater profits, or more pay. So ensuring panelists know what is involved with the trial session products, when and where tasting will be conducted, having adequate facilities, using effective methods, and design publishing results obtained from work, rewarding panelists. And the position bias is a triangle test. Middle on one is the different. Yeah, so it's the in the if you have just two samples, so you just comparing if it is more or. So when appears the third samples, it's the more making the differences. And the contrast effect, it's good after bad appears better, or bad after good appears worse. So that's why we are choosing in the serving the samples, the numbering. Yeah, so we should follow from the less concentration to the more concentration. So as an example serving, it's the two example for example, A, B, and so half panel tastes A first, and the other half tastes B first, and the half panel receive A on the left, the other half receive B on the left. So three samples, six different orders, and which they are tested, use every order the same number of the times. So number of the tasters multiple of the six. So we can see the four samples from the 24 different orders. Use them all if it's possible. So generate random order. We can see if it is really make the difference in this. So other errors during the sensory evaluation, it's the expectation error. So any information a panelist receives before the test influences the result. So it's the called expectation error. So to overcome this, don't give detailed information about the treatments. Don't use people on panel who know what's the treatment are. Sample coding and design can be prevent expectation error. Or logical stimulus error. Tasters look for clues to get the right answers, and difference in the sweetness may be associated with the sample differences such as size, shape, and color. So these errors can be overcome by ensuring sample preparation is uniform or use masking. Also, next we have a halo effect. So when more than one factor in the sample is evaluated at the same time, the result obtained may be different than if factors are evaluated separately. So this can be overcome by the testing each aspect separately. So however, this is time consuming and would only be done if extremely accurate results be required. So for obtain those all information before your designing your sensory analyzing, so you should make a questionnaire design. So in the questionnaire, you can give a simple and easy to follow terms, language, and make sure that they know how to use it. And you may include some instruction to score a sheet itself, but it's usually better to give instruction verbally to your panel first. Yeah, so it's the as an example of the question example. So which samples do you prefer? Please examine code, for example, 3, 4, 9 first, and please tick the appropriate box. So it's the just a tipping, you may making choice between two samples. Okay, thank you very much. Wish you good luck, and please you can answer the questions after lectures as a test questionnaire. Goodbye.